Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, November 2nd, 2020. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss, and here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. But first, I do want to invite you to join me for the monthly market outlook November 4th. It's going to be Wednesday, November 4th at 4 o'clock p.m. Central Time. At 4 o'clock p.m. we will jump on and talk stocks, talk futures, talk broader market outlook, especially post election day. Whether we have results or not, we will be hosting the monthly market outlook on Wednesday at 4 o'clock p.m. Central. So please join me. I will be sending out a Zoom link for that as well. All right, let's take a look here at the ES in the daily time frame here. What you'll notice is that price has a lower value relationship here on the monthly pivot range. Price closed below this month's pivot range as well, and that right there would tend to suggest that any push into the pivot range to begin the month will be met with selling pressure. It will be met with selling pressure, and that's what we've seen already so far today. We've seen price push into the monthly pivot range and so far back away from that zone. So again, that would tend to favor another push, at least to retest the previous month's low, perhaps to drop into prior support down below here as well. That's 31.96.5. We do have a large range that is developed here with very clear support down here. That support, they call it 3100, is very important. We haven't quite gotten there just yet. We got very close on Friday, but we could certainly get a test in that area. Again, a rejection of this point, if we were to drop in here, could provide a bounce back up, and we could continue to trade inside this trading range until proven otherwise. But right now, at least early on in the week here, this push into the monthly pivot range here could be met with selling pressure for at least a test lower. Above the previous mid here, that's going to be 33.80s. That's where price really needs to bust above 3,400 in order to trade in the upper half of this range. So we could drop or rally into as high as the 33.80s here and still be met with selling pressure and trade in the lower half of the month's range, the previous month's range. Otherwise, above that level opens up the upper half of last month's range. Let's take a look here at the NQ. You'll see with the NQ here, this one also has a lower close here for last month. This one was mostly an outside value relationship here as well. Again, any rally here into the pivot range could be met with selling pressure, and that could lead to another drop into recent lows. Recent lows would put you right here into about 10.6 to 10.650. That's the next major area of support down below. Now, last Monday we had that impulse sell-off that gave us that key range, and we mentioned that we would use that key range throughout the week. And we have a target at 10.991. We reached that target on Friday. We can now take that key range off here and work on the new key range that may develop soon. But for right now, we have this larger key range, and again, failure to hold the midpoint of that key range suggests we will come down here to test the lower boundary of that range. That's 10.656. We also have a naked FOMC key level down there at 10.615. That could be the next target below. Again, we could rally into the pivot range here and then see weakness ahead. That's typically how this thing may go in a situation of this type. So right now, we're looking for maybe another move into support, and then we'll see how the market responds at that edge. Taking a look now at crude oil. With crude, we have a significant rejection that has developed off the lows here. This is a rally off the overnight lows. Now that is a huge takeout. Look at the low here, 33.64. Price slammed down in after hours trading here, especially after the after hours open Sunday evening. A big drop, stop run down, and then a rejection to come back above the previous month's low. That's significant right there. A very significant move. The other thing that's significant about this is that price crashed right through that 35 CLVN. That 35 CLVN has been tremendous. We talked about the potential to have support there the other day, and we got it and bounced. This time it smashed through that level to 33.64 and is now back above those 35s. So if bulls can keep 34.50, 35 bid overall and keep prices above 35 here, we may have a strong enough low to work off of as an impulse low. So you have that strong impulse high, Impulse sell-off here, a strong low. If that's the case, we may be looking at a bounce back to the midpoint of that range. So that, again, can the market keep this tail throughout the day? Can it stay above 35s throughout the day? If so, by the end of the day, we may have ourselves a strong low, whereby price could bounce higher toward the midpoint of this impulse sell-off. Lastly, taking a look at gold futures. Gold futures is up about 0.4% right here. We talked before about how important the lower portion of this key range is right there. That's 1874.20. I mentioned before this was the ideal buy zone down here. It bounced but just couldn't really find acceptance above that midpoint of the previous month. Now we have a lower value relationship here for the month, and again, overall this market continues to look a little heavy and may still need a little bit of a flush before it can get going to the upside. At some point down the road, if price can start pushing back above that 1950, it's going to open up a tremendous rally opportunity ahead. The early level to watch is 1900. Can price get above 1900? If so, it opens up some upside to test the 1940 to 1950 zone. But right now, that's going to be the early level to watch, because overall this thing has shown a tendency to push a little bit lower right now, especially after some sideways here. So again, we're still mostly range bound. Nothing's really going to happen to the upside until price can get above 1950. The early level to watch, 1900 for early directional bias this week. All right, that is it for now. Please join me. Again, we're going to do the monthly market outlook on Wednesday at 4 o'clock p.m. Central. I'll send that Zoom link out for everyone to join. All right, everyone, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.